So we're going to start off today by priming the eyelids, and the eyeshadow base that I'm using today is one of my favorites. It's the Plouise base shade in the shade number 2. So I'm just going to take my MAC 252S brush and just start out underneath my eyebrow, and I'm pretty much just going to carve out the shape of how I want to have my brows. So this helps later on when we do style the brow. So once I've carved underneath the brow, I'm just going to drag that down onto the mono lid and just pat that into the skin. I find that when you pat this product into the skin, it sets a lot better than just swiping it onto the skin. So I've recently just purchased the Plouise Base Winter Edition. I absolutely love the shades, and I'm thinking today I want to use the pink and the purple and just have a play around. I haven't used these before, so I don't know what they are like. I see a lot of hype online about these products, so I'm interested to see if I can make them work for me. I just forgot that I purchased the Mirror brush set from Plouise, so I'm gonna try and use some of these brushes in the video today. So firstly I'm gonna start with the purple shade, and this one's called Vivid Violet. I'm just going to pop a bit onto the back of my hand. So firstly I'm just going to take the Morphe x Jeffree Star JS13 brush. So I'm thinking I want to do some sort of cut crease. So I'm just taking it above my natural crease here, just so that when I'm looking straight ahead you can see the purple above my crease line there. So you can see the shape that I'm going for here, and what I'm going to do now is go in with the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette, and I'm going to take this shade right here, which is called Gumdrop. It's a beautiful pastel-y purple shade, just like the base shade that we popped down. And I'm going to take my Morphe JS6 brush, so I'm just using dabbing motions just to set down the base, and then I'm going to go in and blend this eyeshadow out. So you can already tell this is the eye that I just set with the eyeshadow base. You can see how more vibrant that color is compared to this side here. So now that I've set the base, I'm just gonna use the same shadow and the same brush and just slightly blend on the top of the line here, just so we have a nice transition up to that brow bone. This first blend's also gonna help shape the look as well. So just take your time with this first blend and really get the placement that you want, because it's going to help later on when we style the cut crease. So I'm going to take mine quite high because I do have a lot of lid space, but if you didn't have much lid space, you don't have to take it up as high, but you just do you and do whatever style you are wanting, just one that complements your eye shape. So now that our first shade is blended out, I'm going to go in with a deeper shade, and the one that I'm using is from the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette, and it's this shade right here, this beautiful emerald blue. It's called Soaked, and the reason why I'm going in with a deeper color is to define the crease even more. I really want this to stand out and pop, so I'm going to use my Zoeva 231 Luxe brush. So I'm going to hit this color more in the actual crease of my eye. So this is just going to give the illusion that the eye is deeper and more pushed back, and that creates a more opened eye and a more bigger eye. And you can see that I'm going in little circular motions. This is just going to help diffuse the color and blend it out easy as well. And I'm just following the same shape that I created with the purple shade. So this is how the blue is starting to look. Still a little bit messy, and we're still going to do a little bit more blending, but you just really need to trust the process, because it always looks messier before it looks better. So I'm just going to switch up brushes again, just using the same brush that we used to place down the purple. And I'm just going to go over the edges of the blue and just blend that out. So I'm just going to dip back into that Gumdrop pastel-y purple shade out of the Jawbreaker palette, just on a nice big fluffy brush. This one is the JS8 by Morphe and Jeffree Star. And I'm just going to blend out any edges around the eye. And this is also just going to bring back that hint of purple as well, just because it is looking a little bit more blue. So now I'm going to go in with the Plouise Winter Rose. It's beautiful pastel-y pink. And again, I'm just gonna pop that on to the back of my hand. And I'm gonna use one of the Plouise brushes. Now these brushes don't have names by the looks of it, but they are different in size. So there's a big one, a medium one, and a smaller one. I'm gonna use the smaller one to cut the crease today. So I'm just pretty much putting it all over the mono lid, just to start off with, and then we're gonna shape the eye. I like to look straight ahead and let anything transfer. So this is the shape that I've decided to go with, just to have a little play around. I don't think I've done this kind of shape before on my channel. So now that I have the shape of my cut crease, I'm going to dip into the same shade Gumdrop, that pastel purpley shade, and I'm going to take a clean JS12 by Jeffree Star and Morphe, and I'm just going to add some color down here again and just recreate that nice sharp shape and blend that into the eyeshadow base. So you can see how that's just starting to clean it up and make it nice and sharp again. So now that we have created the shape again, we are going to go back in with the Plouise brush. It's the same brush that I used to cut the crease, and I'm just going to make sure that there's no creases in the pink base, just so we can go and set that with some shadow. So now I know there's no creases in the eye. I'm going to go back in with that same palette, and I'm going to pick up this shade Bubblegum, which is a beautiful pastel pink, and I'm just going to use my 234 Luxe Smoky Shader by Zoeva to pack that on to the lid. So this is just going to set down the base and also intensify that pink shade as well. So I'm going to go back in with the Vivid Violet purple base, and I'm going to use this as eyeliner across the top of my eye. Grabbing a eyeliner brush, and the one that I'm using is the E06 by Sigma. It's such a small defined brush, so I can really control where I'm placing the liner. I'm not going to do a wing, I'm just going to go straight across the lash line. So I'm going to go in and set down that liner using the same purple shade Gumdrop out of the Jawbreaker palette. And the brush that I'm using is the E15 Flat Definer by Sigma. Just going to tilt my head back a little bit and then just set down that base shade, just so it doesn't crease or move when we pop on some lashes. So now that the liner is all set, I'm going to pop on some lashes. I'm just going to do it off camera because it's so much easier. But the ones that I'm wearing are by Model Rock in the style 1. These are the silk lashes. They're so pretty. So I'm just going to pop them on and I'll be back. So the lashes are on, and I decided just to quickly do my brows off camera. I just used the Anastasia Brow Wiz and the Anastasia Brow Gel in Auburn. Now we're going to move on to priming the face, and I'm going to use NYX Angel Veil Primer today. It is more of a silicone based primer, and if you do get quite oily, it is good for oily skin as well, just to help control that oil throughout the day. The foundation I'm using today is the Gorgeous Cosmetic Base Perfect Liquid Foundation. It definitely is a light to medium coverage, but for this look I feel like I want to show my freckles a little bit, just let them shine through. I'm just going to take that on the back of my hand and get my beauty blender and just work that into the skin. The only thing I don't like about this foundation is it smells like sunscreen. I'm not a fan of that. The thing I like most about this foundation is that it is quite yellow, but still really suits my fair skin. I don't have a tan on at the moment, and it just blends into my fair skin tone really nicely. So I don't know how well this is picking up on camera, but you can definitely see my skin and my freckles through the foundation, and that's what I love about it so much. So for concealer, I'm going to use the Becca Aqua Illuminizing Concealer. This is just a nice hydrating concealer to go underneath the eyes. I am quite dry at the moment. I haven't really been looking after my skin as much as what I should be. So I'm just going to place that underneath the eyes. I don't like to use too much concealer underneath the eyes, and then also just a little bit down the center of my face. And I don't like to take it too far up on my forehead, because I already have a big forehead and we do not want to accentuate that, but I do have some fine lines up there that I need to conceal and set. And then again, just going in with my beauty blender, and I'm going to take it quite high up just so we can blend in the shadow on the top of that cut crease into the concealer. I absolutely love this concealer just for a nice light coverage. It still covers what it needs to be covered, but it's more hydrating underneath the eye area, so it works really well on mature age clients, or if you're really dry or have heaps of fine lines underneath the eye area. To set down the concealer, I'm just going to use my Laura Mercier translucent powder. I'm just going to pop a little bit into the lid. This is my favorite powder. I love it under the eyes because it's really finely milled and it doesn't like seek into any fine lines, and it's really light but sets it and it just doesn't move throughout the day. So it's really good for everyone's skin type. And I'm just going to use my Real Techniques setting brush. And I always take my setting powder up into the forehead because I have quite a few fine lines in that area, and because I don't conceal a lot of my forehead, I want to make sure that I set down that foundation. So to contour today, I'm going to actually use a blush from NYX. This one is in the shade Taupe. It's a very cool tone brown, so it's perfect to create that shadow. And I'm just going to take my Sigma F40 angled brush to contour today. I'm just going to start off really light-handed just because we don't want to go too ashy too quick. And I'm just going to define my cheekbone area a little bit. I'm also going to take it underneath my chin as well, because since having my baby, I just have a lovely double chin that doesn't want to go away. So we are just going to try and hide that as much as possible. I'm also going to take that up on my forehead as well, just to try and push back that area. And another place I like to contour is the temples. If I don't want to drag it right around the front, I just pretty much hit the temple area to kind of give that sleek push back effect. To warm up the skin a little bit, I'm going to use Gimme Sun by MAC. This is quite orange, so I'm not going to take too much at once on the same brush, or we're just going to end up in disaster with too much on the face and it just gets harder to blend. I'm just bronzing up the face now, just pretty much going over all them areas, just using the same brush as we did before. This bronzer looks really, really pretty on medium to deep skin tones, or if you have like a nice fake tan on and you want to look really bronzy and sun-kissed, this is the perfect bronzer. I've been using it for years now and it's just a really nice staple to have in your collection. So now that the face is nice and bronzed, I'm just going to take this sponge. I'm pretty sure it's by Real Techniques. I'll try and find it and leave it down below. I'm just going to take the flat end and dip it into my translucent powder, and we're just going to clean up the contour on the sides a little bit. I love doing this. It just gives more of a sharp, structured look. So I'm just dragging it down like this, and then just letting it melt into the skin like that. And then I'm just going to get a fluffy brush and quickly dust that away. I don't like it sitting there too long. It gets a little bit cakey and heavy sometimes and leaves just a white shadow cast, which is not what I'm wanting today. So for blush, I'm going to use this blush right here by NYX in the shade Down to Earth. It's a beautiful coral blush, and I'm just going to go in really light-handed. I'm just going to hit the apples of my cheeks and just blend that back into my contour. And the brush that I'm using is an F40 by Sigma, just the same brush that we used to contour, but this is just a clean brush. For highlight, I'm going to use my Sigma Chroma Glow palette. I haven't used this palette in ages. It's got some really crazy highlighter shades that I don't usually tend to reach for, but today we're going to hit the shade Felicity, which is like a nice purpley highlight. And the brush that I'm using is my Morphe M451 brush, and I'm just going to take this on my cheekbones. I'm also going to take that on the top of my lip there, and just a tad on my chin. I'm also just going to run a little bit down the center of my nose as well, and then on the point of my nose. Now I'm just going to take a smaller flat definer brush, and this one is the 234 Smoky Luxe Shader by Zoeva. I'm just going to pick up some of the same highlighter shade and just hit the brow bone area. So now we're going to move on and finish the eyes. I'm going to dip into the same Jeffree Star palette, and I'm going to pick up Gumdrop, the purple shade that we used on top of the lid. And I'm going to take my Sigma E45 small tapered blending brush. So I'm just going to take that color from the outer corner and drag that into the inner corner of the eye. So I'm just going to take the Sigma flat definer brush. It is the E15. We use this to set the eyeliner on the top lid. And I'm going to pick up Soaked, which is that beautiful emerald blue shade, and I'm just going to smudge this as closest to the lash line as possible, just to add a little tiny bit of depth into that lower lash line. And I'm just going to connect it to the end of the outer corner there. And I think I'm going to go in and use the pink base on the lower waterline just to make it pop. The brush that I'm going to use for my waterline is the Sigma E10. It's nice and fine, and I love this for the waterline. I'm going to take the color from the inner corner right out to the outer corner too. Now I'm going to go ahead and just pop on some mascara to the top and bottom lashes. So before we move on to the lips, I'm just going to highlight the inner corners of my eyes, just using the same highlighter that we used to highlight the face. And I'm just taking a E30 pencil brush by Zoeva. So for the lips, I feel like a nude lip would look so good with this look, but I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone a little bit, and we are going to do a purple lip just to complement the purple eye. And the lip liner that I'm using is by NYX in the shade Sway, and the lipstick is also NYX in the shade Sway. So here we have the completed look. I'm so happy with how it turned out. It is quite bold with the purple lip. You can obviously pair it with a nude lip if you're wanting to tone down the look a little bit. But I loved playing around with some color, and I loved trying out the Plouise Colour Bases. It does really help with the color payoff, and I can't wait to try all the other colors I have and do some more crazy looks for you guys. Don't forget, I do list all my brushes and what products I use in the description down below, so if you've missed anything throughout the video, just go down and check it out. Definitely like this video if you enjoyed watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys want to see from me next, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!